some way.
Well, we're looking outside. We anticipated some blue, sunny skies. Still a little foggy out there, but you know, you do need to keep up with your sunscreen. By the way, this is a very organized display of makeup we have here with Deborah Haynes, our Chief Beauty Officer from Blush Beauty Bar in Northwest Portland. You have to be organized when you follow Michaela, right?
I tried.
So SPF, we see it on a lot of makeup bottles now. You know, our foundation has it in it. Is that enough during the winter months?
Yes and no. So really the key is that even though it's cloudy outside, you don't see the sun, the rays are always there no matter what. And so my thing that I want people to do is think UV protection every single day, regardless of what product you are getting it in. You just need to have it on. Melanoma is what some of the highest rates are here in cloudy countries like Oregon and Washington. So we think that we have protection all day. So that's one of the myths I wanted to talk about.
You made a good point, because I talked about the clouds outside, but you're saying the sun's still coming through.
It's still coming through,
so, yeah.
even on a day like today.
Yeah, and we see the numbers, you know, 30, they climb up to 50. Is there really a difference?
There is a difference. So some people think, oh, I'm going to put a 50 on, that's going to give me more protection all day long. Not necessarily. So a 15 will give you about 93% blockage of the UV rays. A 30 is about 97%, and a 50 is about 98, 99%. There's no 100% blockage.
I had to jump in because I feel like I need to know all this stuff, and I see a couple things that I have at home. So what do you recommend, Deborah?
Right, so a couple of things I recommend is, you know, start out the day with an SPF. So whether that's in your foundations or your moisturizers or your primers, anything like that, at least get that on, you know, in the morning and you're ready to go. But then halfway through the day, people think, oh, I still have protection all day long. You don't. You need to reapply.
So how long, I mean, should you be reapplying after?
Well, if you're outdoors a lot, you need to reapply about every 2 hours. But for like us that, you know, you're working in a studio and stuff, you really need to think midday, you know, right before you're going out, you know, outdoors again and all of that. And one of the things that people, they're always like, well, how do I put it? I have my makeup on. How am I supposed to put moisturizer and stuff back on so I have the SPF? Well, that's when I introduced them to Bob. This is Bob, also known as Brush On Block. And this guy, exactly. And you can just put this right on top of your makeup, and it's not going to mess up anything at all.
And it won't leave like a shimmer or a weird kind
of... Nothing. It's 100% pure mineral. So this is some zinc and titanium.
Brush On Block. So the product is right here in the tube.
Exactly.
And how do I activate it? Do I twist?
So
twist and then, oh wow.
Yeah, and now you just brush it on like you do your powder. And make sure you get enough on there. Most people don't put enough SPF on. You think you've got the coverage, you did a light dusting, you actually really need to get it on there and work it on there.
It's called Brush On Block.
Yeah.
Bob.
And I love Bob.
What about when you're, when you're reapplying or applying to begin with? How much should you put on?
Okay, so that's going to depend on if you're, you know, foundation, you know, you don't want like a blob, right? Because then you're trying to blend it all out. So depending on what it is, but you've got to think about a teaspoon for your face.
Okay.
A teaspoon for your face. So if you're just putting on SPF, you want a teaspoon.
But that foundation's probably misleading, because I think all the products say they have SPF, so I mean, like you're saying, you need to probably supplement it with something else.
Exactly, and so I'm such an advocate of the Brush On Block, whether it's this brand or another brand. This happens to be my favorite brand. It's also a local company, so that's why I love it too. But you know, put your tinted moisturizer on, put your foundation on that's got the SPF, and then set it with this. You know, so then you've got double whammy. You've got the SPF that's not only in the product, but then you've also got this sitting on top.
And you say mineral is better than chemical. How do you tell?
Well, some of that is preference, but I definitely prefer more of a mineral block. You're going to just read the labels. They're going to say zinc or titanium dioxide is in there. You always want it to have the zinc, because that's really what's giving you the block. The titanium dioxide kind of gives a little bit of a tint so that you're not white face, you know, going out anywhere. And again, just, you know, making sure that you're reapplying it throughout the day, get enough on there. And then also if you're doing water activities, if you're sweating, you know, after a workout
caught
or something
in the rain.
like that, caught in the rain.
No umbrella.
Yeah, you know, you have to reapply again. The mineral protections will last about 40 to 80 minutes, so just depending on the brand. Again, read the labels and say 40, 80 minutes, but then you've got to reapply again.
See, I worry a lot about some of those, you know, like the thick sunscreens you plop on, and then I worry it's going to clog my pores, then I'm going to break out and all that. So does the mineral part have anything to do with that, or is there something that can help with that?
Yeah, people that have have more sensitive skin usually do better with mineral sunscreens versus the chemical sunscreens. Also, the chemical sunscreens have been banned in a lot of countries because they're not safe for the water. So they're hurting the marine life. And so that's, you're going to see a lot of push going more towards the mineral sunscreens.
Final question for you. Is there an area of the face that's most susceptible to damage and perhaps skin cancer? Is it the nose?
It's the nose. Yeah, so it's really the high planes of the face. So you're talking the forehead, the nose, kind of the chin, the cheeks, that kind of area, but really, honestly, the nose. And I think part of that is because we sweat more there. So the oil glands are closer to the surface. You've got a lot more, everybody's always shiny in the T-zone, right? So that's your nose. And so with what I was just saying about sweat proof, you know, that's going to, your protection's gone in 80 minutes in your nose area. So
good idea for the brush
yes,
on.
so
best
I'm
takeaway
telling
right
you,
there.
I have one in my car, I have it in my handbag, I just keep it there.
Deborah Haynes, the Chief Beauty Officer at Blush Beauty Bar. Find her in Northwest Portland. Thanks so much for coming by. Always great
Thank you
information.
for the tips. Well, up next on